We've really got to get solid at those lower levels. We've got to get her feeling regulated and interested in the world, feeling safe and open to other people. And she does probably more for you than anyone else, but even leaning into that more so that she really has this as a safe place and feels accepted and that you're accepting and empathizing with her. We're giving you permission to not do very much. But I often find, for me, even for me, I think sometimes I need to mix it up. I need to go, all right, I'm going to give 10 minutes or half the session. I'm just going to back off and I'm going to call it assessment, observation. I'm going to see if there are options that I can be supportive and hand blocks or comment or be curious. So being curious rather than encouraging curiosity. So not the Dave standing on his head, but the, you're really liking that drum. I wonder if it's, you're banging it and then it vibrates. And you're not talking because you're expecting her to notice the words, but we talk, right? So you know, the words are helping you get the affect to respond contingently to what she's doing. But so, you know, what do you feel confident enough to give yourself permission to not try? You know, to not be moving into getting her to act a certain way, being able to see how can I get into her world. And maybe it's about going back to those sheets and finding, what am I measuring? You know, am I measuring how many minutes she'll let me be right by her without her leaving? Or am I measuring, you know, am I looking for a side glance but not a direct glance? Or, you know, can I have a whole music box and keep handing her things and she doesn't need to grab the box because she trusts that I'll give it to her? It's hard, right? Because you haven't, like, we're trying to lay down a tiny little neural path of safety and acceptance and empathy. From here, Leo, what are your aha moments or insights or questions?
I need to process everything. That's step one. But yeah, I think, yeah, just stepping back and observing her a bit more and yeah, going from there and seeing what it is that she's doing and then go. I think.
Yeah, and in fairness to you, you're super respectful and you're lovely with her. Truly, truly.
But I think it's that thing in the voice in the back of my head being like, you're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything, right? So you got to give yourself the permission and the confidence. And so just make a deal with yourself. Are you going to try it for a whole session or are you going to try it for 15 minutes or half a session and then you're going to switch to try and get something? It's okay, right?
Yeah.
I find the best thing is when you've got a parent in, I just say to a parent, I'm going to switch to observation mode for 5 minutes. So we're going to back off, give 5 minutes where I'm not going to ask or demand or say anything and just see what happens. 9 out of 10 times, you get something great out of it. Sophie?
I was going to say, I think there is as well a difference though between just sitting back and observing versus being that anchor.
Yeah.
And so just trying to feel for yourself what that difference feels like so that it's not necessarily running into each other. So you can have your 15 minutes of observation or whatever that might be, and then you're going to be that anchor for the rest of the time, and they're two very different things.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think you should do both, right? I think you should do like at least 5 minutes of doing nothing but waiting with openness. And that's where I do that, like I'm waiting like a goalkeeper. I'm like sitting, but I'm sitting like this, but I'm not trying to initiate anything. I'm not even pairing necessarily unless it feels right. But give yourself a few minutes to do that and see, does she invite you in? Because I think she truly cares about you. That would be really interesting. And then there's just that gently how to acknowledge that you're accepting and trying to and being interested in what she is interested in. Love that.